Welcome, Holy Spirit. We are in your presence. Fill us with your power. Live inside of me. Peace and blessings. I'm Rev Dele, and I want to welcome you to Soil and Soul's Journey number 1. We are here to show you how we can work with nature, work with our hearts, and create a wealthy and healthy community. Oh, I have to tell you, brought to you by our sponsors, Mayfield Memorial Missionary Baptist Church in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Virginia Interfaith Power and Light. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. So first, let's talk about why soil and souls. Well, if you remember in the beginning, God took a piece of soil and blew into it, and our destinies became perpetually intertwined. What happens to the soil happens to the human soul, and vice versa. And so that's kind of the way we came here. So combining our faith with our presence in nature is something that really comes natural. And for me, as a sixth generation minister activist, really combining my faith in nature has really saved me from the ravages of being on the front line. I grew up on the front lines of desegregation, and it was a time period in history that was very angry, was not nice, and there was a lot of fighting. And we were successful. There were city lawsuits and statewide lawsuits, and my parents even won 2 national civil rights lawsuits. But all of that fighting, all of the lawyers, all of the litigation, all of that anger, it took a terrible toll on all of us. My father died in his early 50s. My mother tried to commit suicide. My brothers are still raging, some on the outside with vicious behavior, some on the inside with depression. It takes a toll. And I learned early on, let's put that rage someplace where it won't harm anyone. I remember as a child, we used to go camping. And I remember putting my head on the soil and listening to the wind rustling in the leaves. And it felt like ocean waves bathing my mind. It was soothing. I remember as a teenager, when there were particularly hostile times, my mother used to say, "We're going to the mountains." And she would take us to the Colorado National Forest for the weekend. Even in my ministry, I have found that combining our faith with nature has been very transformative in a very short period of time. I took a group of middle school age boys to an environmental arts camp that I produced in Southern Virginia. And these boys came from the city, some came from the country, and they were in different states of mind. Some were jittery because they were all anxious about everything. Some were angry at society, and some were just kind of confused, like, you know, compassionate black man in America? How are you going to do that? But anyway, after 7 days on 80 acres of land with rising early, affirmations, prayer, spiritual development, fun in nature, and at night, just sitting by the fire, readers' theater, these boys began to transform. And by the time they left, in just 1 week, they were calm, they were confident. And when they were on the radio, they talked about how they envisioned being productive people in society. At that point, I said, I'm doing all of my ministry in nature. A few months later, Hurricane Katrina hit. I went down to New Orleans, and I had a healing arts center the lawn had just been covered with that toxic stew. And the young people came from all over the world to help, but they were enraged. They were angry at what they had seen on TV. They were angry at what was happening on the ground, and they were fighting each other. So when I invited them to bioremediate my lawn, they were happy. And just putting their hands in the soil, it rejuvenated them. They started to come back to themselves. There was lots of joy with themselves, with the land. And I began to see, here's a pattern. The boys in Virginia gained strength from what Mother Nature gave them. These young adults, they were gaining strength by what they were giving to Mother Nature. And so this is why we started to just consciously bring together our ministry, Soil and Souls, because there's so much joy, and we need that joy to go along with our impact. Fun is sustainable. And so, what we're going to do in this particular series is we're going to talk about how can we deepen our faith and how can we bring joy to our impact. This is how our communities are going to go together in love and peace and harmony. Before I go, I want to give you one assignment to get to know each other. In your classroom, you'll find that there's a leadership questionnaire. And so I want you to form small groups of about no more than 3 people. And I want you to go through the 3 sections in your folder or on that sheet of paper. And we'll start to see how much do I know about the nature that I live in, and how much do I share my human nature with that. So I will see you soon.